Denver, we need to talk. Because behind the shiny new training facility, behind the hype videos, behind the Super Bowl or bust headlines, there is a story so wild, so messy, and so packed with drama that it reads less like a football preview and more like a soap opera script. And somehow, it's all true. Let's start with the man at the center of it all, head coach Sean Payton. A profile recently dropped on him, and what it revealed wasn't just uncomfortable, it was jaw-dropping. According to insiders close to the team, Payton's lifestyle behind the scenes is nothing short of chaotic. We're talking sleepless nights that stretch past 2 in the morning, a diet fueled by soda after soda, and a dependence on medication that nobody can quite explain. Add in obsessive, borderline compulsive habits, and you start to understand why people who cover this team say the coach is a walking contradiction, brilliant on one hand, unraveling on the other. And here's where it gets juicy. Insiders are now connecting the dots between Payton's chaotic personal habits and one of the most controversial coaching decisions of last season. The call that may have cost the Broncos a trip to the Super Bowl. Picture this. Denver is riding a red-hot defense, playing lights out against a rookie quarterback under center for the Patriots. They have a golden opportunity to build a 2-possession lead. All they need to do is kick the field goal, take the points, and let the defense finish the job. Instead, sources say Payton's fatigue-fueled logic led him down a rabbit hole, convincing himself that 14 points down the road was somehow better than 10 points right now. He ignored the scouting reports. He ignored the weather forecast rolling in for the second half. And in the most chaotic twist of all, on a crucial 4th and 1, instead of trusting his offensive line to simply run the football, he dialed up a bizarre passing play that fell apart in an instant. The result? Denver's season ended in heartbreak. And now people who've covered this team for decades are openly wondering whether Payton's late-night, soda-fueled, pill-popping lifestyle is quietly costing this franchise championships. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Payton himself seems to love the spotlight, even when it burns him. Despite running one of the most secretive, tight-lipped organizations in the NFL, an organization that reportedly rewards players for giving boring, bland interviews, Payton personally cannot resist the allure of a big media moment. Give him a chance to be featured in a splashy expose, and he's like a moth drawn straight to the flame. He wants to be seen. He wants to be talked about. He wants to be associated with the biggest names in journalism, even if it means his own words come back to bite him. And bite him they have, from awkward quotes about health routines to careless comments about a certain star quarterback's fragile ankle. Payton has a history of saying way too much, way too often. It's an almost comedic irony. The coach who hides his own team from local reporters can't stop opening up to anyone with a big enough microphone. Speaking of that quarterback, let's talk about the ankle herd round Denver. After last season's gut punch of a playoff exit, all eyes are on whether the franchise's rising star signal caller is fully healed and ready to roll. And by all accounts, he looks sharp. He looks explosive. He looks like a guy gearing up for a massive payday, one that could reshape the entire roster as we know it. Because here's the harsh reality of NFL economics. Once this quarterback signs that monster extension, this era of Denver keeping nearly the entire roster intact year after year is over. We're talking about a team that returned the overwhelming majority of last year's starters, and yet, oddly enough, national pundits are treating them like an underdog. Like a team that doesn't deserve buzz despite winning 14 games and arguably deserving 15 if not for a questionable officiating call against a divisional rival. This team is one healthy ankle away from a Super Bowl appearance, and somehow it's being overlooked heading into the season. That, folks, is the real crime here. Now buckle up, because the locker room drama doesn't stop with the coach and the quarterback. Let's get into who might not even be wearing a Denver uniform by the time September rolls around. First up, a name that has ignited outrage across the fan base, an offensive lineman currently facing serious off-field allegations. And when we say serious, we mean the kind of allegations that make longtime insiders say flat out that this player's time in Denver should be over regardless of talent. Reports allege deeply troubling conduct, the kind that involves aggression toward a woman. And no matter how good someone is on the field, this is the sort of situation that should never be tolerated, excused, or spun into a redemption arc. The organization is reportedly already bracing for this to be his final season in a Broncos uniform, and honestly, many close to the team believe that can't happen soon enough. Then there's the tight end room, which insiders are calling one of the most chaotic, underperforming units on the entire roster. One veteran pass catcher, brought in with plenty of hype, simply hasn't delivered. Meanwhile, the coaching staff has quietly been raving about a lesser-known athletic developmental prospect, a former college basketball standout who impressed so much at a voluntary camp that his stock is reportedly rising fast even after suffering a minor injury. Whispers around the building compare his ceiling to some of the most electrifying receiving tight ends the NFL has seen in the last 2 decades. If that comparison holds even a little bit of weight, Denver might be sitting on a hidden gem nobody outside the building is talking about yet, while the presumed starter could be playing his way right out of a job. And let's not forget the running back room, which now has 3 players in the mix, adding fuel to speculation that certain depth pieces, including a receiver who reportedly triggered a sideline blow-up over a controversial fake punt decision, might not survive final roster cuts either. Now here's where the money drama kicks in. This front office has built a reputation for being years ahead of the pack, locking up its budding stars early and often, well before free agency chaos can drive up the price tag. This offseason, all eyes are on a lockdown cornerback who is reportedly about to hit the open market demanding a contract in the neighborhood of $20 million a year. The kicker? The team also has a highly drafted first-round cornerback on the roster, and paying 2 corners max money simultaneously might not be realistic. Insiders speculate the front office could be forced into an uncomfortable choice, pay the proven star, and potentially shop the former first-round pick, while his trade value still has some shine left before it fades even further. Meanwhile, an electrifying return specialist and receiver, someone many consider the most valuable trade chip on the roster, might not even be part of the long-term plans, with insiders suggesting he could be dealt away entirely if the return package is right. It's brutal, but that's pro football. Even beloved players become trade bait once the front office starts crunching numbers. Let's zoom out for a second, because amid all this drama, one thing is crystal clear. Expectations for this team are sky high heading into the season. Despite Vegas odds makers setting the win total at a shockingly conservative number, longtime insiders are calling that projection an outright insult. The real expectation? Somewhere around 11 wins minimum, with the potential to hit 12 if they can get revenge in a marquee Christmas Day showdown against a bitter AFC rival. This is a team moving into a brand new, ultra-luxurious training facility loaded with talent, adding an all-pro caliber receiver as basically their only major new addition, and returning a roster stacked with playoff experience. If ever there was a put-up or shut-up season, insiders say, this is it. And just when you think the story couldn't get any stranger, here's the cherry on top. A beloved local sports radio personality who has covered this franchise for over a quarter century revealed one of the wildest personal anecdotes you'll ever hear. While biking to work along his usual route, he discovered that a wild bear had been struck by a car at the exact intersection he passes through daily. Naturally, his friends and colleagues are now telling him to keep his head on a swivel, because between locker room scandals, budget-busting contract negotiations, and now roaming wildlife, this offseason has officially delivered chaos on every possible front. So here's where we land. A coach whose late-night habits may have single-handedly derailed a Super Bowl run. A franchise quarterback on the verge of a monster payday that will forever change the roster's identity. A locker room shakeup brewing behind the scenes with a serious allegation threatening a player's career. a hidden gem tight end waiting for his shot, and a receiver who might get traded away for future assets. A cornerback logjam that could force an uncomfortable, expensive decision. And because nothing about this offseason could be normal, a literal bear encounter on the way to work. This is shaping up to be one of the most electrifying, unpredictable, and high-stakes seasons in recent memory for this franchise. Buckle up, because if even half of these storylines play out the way insiders are predicting, this year is going to be an absolute roller coaster from training camp all the way to January. And that's the tea, folks. What do you think? Is this the year it all finally comes together? Or is this team destined for more late-night, soda-fueled heartbreak? Drop your predictions in the comments below, because we want to hear from you. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a scoop, and turn on notifications because this story is far from over. We'll be right here bringing you every twist, every turn, and every bit of drama as the season unfolds. See you in the next one.